Hello, and thanks for coming again. Well, I'd like to give a special thanks to my many viewers, subscribers, and yes, the people who are getting value from these videos. I'm so glad to be of service in some way. Especially, I'd like to thank everyone who commented in any way. Some of the comments were a little bit interesting, but that's fine. I'm glad I'm reaching you, and I'm glad you're finding value, and I would like you to please keep coming back. Sorry for being late on any questions or comments. I wasn't quite aware that there were so many people commenting, and I'm happy to know that you're viewing it. Want to give value to you, so it makes me feel great to know that you are viewing these videos. Well, welcome to FEFT and more. As you know, I'm Charles, and I'm glad to be delivering these little tips to you. Today I want to be talking about the word would. W-O-U-L-D. Well, actually, someone requested information on this word, so I'm glad to be sharing this with you today. Now, as you know, would is an auxiliary verb, a modal auxiliary verb, and we're not going to get into the real details of all of the grammatical expressions and rules about this word, but I wanted to give you the word in different scenarios, different situations of how it is being used. I know you can find a lot of grammatical information on the tube, so I'm more interested in giving you practical, real life, relatable circumstances and examples of how to use these words and phrases. So let's jump right into it, shall we? Well, like I said, you know that would is an auxiliary verb, and would is used to talk about the past or talk about the future in the past or express the conditional mood, the mood of the condition at the time, you see. We also use it for other functions, expressing desire, something you want, hoping for something, well, polite requests, questions, opinions or hopes, wish, or even regrets sometimes. So we'll be going over some of those points today in this video for your practical use in the word would. Would you like that? Okay, let's go on now. I don't want to do too many jokes. Well, you know, we use the word in contracted form also. Would be, say, would you, or I would. You'd say I'd. I would be I'd. She'd. He'd. They'd. All of those are contracted with the word would. So remember that sometimes if it's not said, depending on the context that it's used in, you might have it contracted. I'd, he'd, she'd, we'd, they'd, etc. Okay, let's go on here. Let's look at the word would for being used in the past. Look at this sentence. When I was a young boy, I knew that I would succeed in life. When I was a young boy, I knew that I would succeed in life. In other words, however long ago it was, for me it was quite a while ago, but when you were younger than you are now, you knew that in the future you would succeed. So we use would for the future, even if we're talking about it in the past, you see. Here's another one. Let's see. I thought it would rain, so I told her to bring her umbrella. I thought it would rain, so I told her to bring her umbrella. Talking about would in the future. I thought it was going to rain, so we use the word would there for something going to happen. Coming up. Okay, let's use the word as a kind of past tense, or will or going to is common in reported speech. In other words, saying something that someone else has said. For example, she said that she would buy some eggs. In other words, she told me that she will buy eggs. So I'm reporting what another person said, he or she. We can put he there too. He told me he would buy eggs. Okay, you got that? Or you can, like in the situation of asking someone why they did not do something. For example, why didn't you bring your umbrella? I told you it would rain. In other words, you knew it was going to be raining, so you mentioned to someone to bring their umbrella. And perhaps they did not, because we're asking here, why didn't you bring your umbrella? I said it would rain, or I told you it would rain. You see, we could use would there because you're speaking about something that may or might or is surely going to happen, or possibly going to happen. I told you it would rain. Okay, let's go to another one here now. Sometimes we use would when talking about habitual past behavior. Things that were done by habit or repeatedly throughout a day, or repeated days, one day after another. Habitual behavior. Okay, let's see. Here's one here. Every summer at this time, we'd go to the beach. You see, you're talking about something in the past, something that was done repeatedly. Every summer at this time, we would go to the beach. It's contracted there, made short, easy to understand, but remember that it is would that is being contracted there. We would go to the beach. Let me see. Here's another one. This is cute. Sometimes she'd phone me in the middle of the night. Well, this is sometimes she would phone me in the middle of the night. Well, it could be in the middle of the day or the middle of working time. But sometimes they would phone me in the middle of the night. He, she, they, whoever the person is or persons are is fine. Yeah. So this is sometimes, this is a repeated action. You see, this is a habitual behavior. Okay, let's go to the next one. Let's look at it in the form of would for the future in the past. Isn't this detailed? We're going back and forth to the past and the future all the time. Look at this one. In London, he met the woman that he would one day marry. In London, he met the woman that he would one day marry. He met a woman in the past at a place that in the future would be his wife. In London, he met the woman that he would one day marry. They're married now, talking about it in the past, when they met, that it would happen. So there we go. Let's see. Here's another one. He left 5 minutes early, unaware that the early time would save his life. you see. Would, leaving early at a certain time in the past, not knowing that leaving according to that time would have great meaning in his life. By leaving early, 5 minutes early, he was unaware that the early time of leaving would save his life. Good going there. Keep on schedule. Always be early. Early is better. Okay, let's go to another one. Let's see, would for conditionals, different situations, conditions of possible change, you see. We often use would to express the so-called second or third person conditionals. Second or third is meant to be the second or third in grammar, but you don't have to be over concerned with that right now. Just look at the sample and look at the example and see how it's used. Because this is one about money and jobs. We all need jobs and we all need money. We all need money and sometimes we have a job to get it. Anyway, here we go. If he lost his job, he would have no money. I think that would be true for any one of us, wouldn't it? Well, here's one. If I had won the lottery, I would have bought a new car or a car. Would. I would have. Talking about something in the past, you know, if I won the lottery at that time, I wanted to buy a new car. But he didn't win it, so he's talking about it in the past. If I had won the lottery, I didn't, but if I had won it, I would have, at that time, bought a new car. Wow, what kind of car do you drive? Do you drive? Do you have a car? Do you like to drive? I would always like to drive around the mountains when I was a teen. And I still do. All right, let's go to another one. Well, sometimes we will use the word would in conditions that are kind of understood. You don't have to have the word if in them, but its inference is as if were being used. For example, why don't you invite Ruth? I'm sure she'd come. In other words, if you invite Ruth, she would most probably come, right? But if is not needed to be in verbal speech because it's understood, kind of, right? Oh, let's do another one here. Who would help us? Who would help us? In a situation, if we were in that situation, who would come to our aid, you see? Well, in the answer, you don't have to say who would actually come and help you. You just say, Jerry would. You see? Jerry would what? Come to help us, right? It's understood what is being said. That's good. Okay. You know, we use the word would for desire or want or inclination sometimes too. Let's look at this. I'd love to live there. Don't live there now, but it's something you would really like to do. I would love to live there. Where would you like to live? Any place other than where you are now? Well, that's how you would express it. I would really like. I would love. In polite questions also, would you like some coffee? So in answering that, how would you answer that? If someone asked you, would you like some coffee, and you wanted some, tell me what you would say to answer that. what you would say. Say in the future, in the scenario of something that's not at present. But if it were in that situation, if you were in that situation, would you like some coffee? Tell me how you would answer that. Okay, I'll give you 2 ways to answer it later in the video. Ha ha ha. Keep watching so you'll get the answer on how to answer if you're being asked if you would like some coffee. I'll come back to that. What I really like is some tea. What I would really like is some tea. Or you could substitute anything for that, of course, whatever you want. But what I would really like, you can contract that. What I'd really like is some tea. Now, let's look at this one for opinion or hope. You wanting or wishing, desiring that something would be that it is not at present. Let's see. Let me see. For opinion, something you think about a situation. I suppose some people would call it wonderful. Well, you're saying what you think that people might say about a certain situation. So I suppose some people would call it, whatever's being talked about, wonderful. You see? Would call it. They haven't said it now, but you're supposing a scenario that people who are thinking about that or talking about that might say it in a certain way, would call it wonderful. You see? I would expect him to come. I would expect him or her, them, to come. You see? For example, being invited somewhere and you're wondering whether the people invited would come or not. So you say, but you think they are. So you say, I would expect them to come. Him, her, them. In any situation, I would expect them to come. Okay, let's go for a wish. Let me see. Hoping someone would do something, but they do not. I wish you would stay. Meaning, I really want you to stay. I hope you will stay, you say. Maybe they cannot. Maybe you're not sure what would derive from the situation. But you hope that the person will. So you say, I wish you would stay. Huh? What would you say? Okay, I will. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe next time. Well, I would love to, but I don't have time this trip. Things like that. So expressing a wish or a desire. I wish you would do this or that. All right, let's continue on here. Let's see. We use the word would for presumption or expectation also. Let me see. For example, the phone rings. And you're expecting a call from a certain person. Oh, you say, oh, that would be Betty calling. You see, that would be Betty calling, meaning that it was intended that Betty would be calling about this time. So you are expecting, in expectation of a call from that person. So, bring, bring. Oh, that would be Betty calling. You see. Yeah. Let's see. We also use would for a derogatory comment. For example, they would say that, wouldn't they? Well, it has a little bit of a negative inference here because it's a derogatory. How would you say? They would say that, wouldn't they? Would they not? Wouldn't. They would say that, wouldn't they? Meaning that it's expected that those persons or that person would say something in the way they did. They would say that, wouldn't they? Let's hope that's not the norm, but it is actual situation, so you could say it that way if the situation arose. All right, let's go to another one. Well, sometimes we use this word would in regards to regret or something that you wish you hadn't done or it didn't happen that way. Let's see here. Would that his mother had lived to see him become president. Would that his mother would have lived to see him become president. Well, too bad it didn't happen, but if it had, it is a situation that is desired. So we use would there. Talking about something in the past that might have happened in the future, so we use the would. I'll go over that again. You're hoping, you're desiring, and it's poetic, but it has a little bit of regret in the situation because it didn't, what was desired didn't actually happen. Okay, let's go over that again. Would that his mother had lived to see him become president. In other words, you're saying there, I wish that his mother had lived to see him take the office of president. Wouldn't that have been wonderful, you see? All right, I hope you're getting value from these comments and these little sentences and expressions about would. Okay, are you ready for the answer about the would you like some coffee? Now, how did you answer? Here it goes. The answer would be, yes, I would. Or, yes, I'd like coffee. You can contract it also. Yes, I would. Or, yes, I would like some coffee. Again, would you like some coffee? Yes, I would. Yes, I'd like coffee. Okay, that's it for today. I hope you like your drinks. And what would you like to have for your tea time? Please tell me in the comments and tell me if this was helpful for you or not. You can study the real true grammatical situations that I talked about. You can search them. But I wanted to give you examples of how to use the word would. All right. And I'll be glad if when you come back. I would really like it if you subscribed. I would really like it if you give me likes. And I would like it also if you told a friend. Please tune on. I would love it if you turn on your notifications so you'll be getting more too. So thanks again for your comments, everybody. Thanks for revisiting and new visitors. Glad you can be here. See you on the next one. Yes, and please do take care. Bye now.